Hell of a 2-day run for the boys. Yesterday, Spanky's shenanigans in Leesburg, eating legit pounds of shrimp. It'd be nice if Jeff turned the star of the show.
I ate like 40 shrimp in about an hour and a half.
And then today, we follow up Shrimpapalooza at Spanky's with Pizza Palooza.
Luckily, I get up in the morning at 6:30 and work out.
We needed these last couple days.
Working in this place with all this stuff rolling in here, especially when it gets
think about our last 3 days was Hot Dog Fest, Shrimp Fest, Pizza Fest.
Yeah.
What a world.
Got to work out fest.
I got to tell you what Jeff said his plan is later. But right now, we're going to talk some college hoops. Our friend Chris Knoche is on the line.
What's up, Knoche?
What's up, Knoche? How you doing, buddy?
All good, boys. All good. Love to live vicariously through you guys.
Hey, they just try to feed us all the time. They're trying to make us fat.
Yeah, they might be, honestly.
There you go.
Knoche, the games last night, you've been around college hoops a long time. Coached, played, all of it. Have you ever seen a situation where one team ends up with only 4 players on the court at a critical moment?
No, never, ever, ever. And I'm at sort of a loss as to how to explain it for several reasons. First of all, a lot of times a ref will say, just sort of, hey, you only got 4, or hey, you got 6. Somebody's got to come off the court, something like that. But it's not on the refs, man. That's on the coach and his staff. It's not. Hoiberg is a really good coach and a great guy, and I know he fell on the sword last night. He said it was totally on him. He's also got 10 guys on that bench, as assistant coaches. Somebody, as they break that huddle, somebody's got to see that. I mean, that's unfathomable. And given the moment, too, that's a 3-point game with 58 seconds left when that happens.
That's crazy.
It's You get one stop there, and all of a sudden, you're right where you want to be at that point.
You know what? Even like the players, though, like I can remember getting here in Washington in 1990 and 91. Coach Gibbs, I would always be talking to Pettibone, and Pettibone was like, "Man, you seem to notice more stuff. Just keep letting me know." I always watched the defense to make sure, because I ran the offense during the week, and I knew when the trick play was happening. So if I saw the same stuff, I'll run and tell the D coordinator. I don't know why a player didn't even notice that. Dude, I need to be out there. Hey, you're supposed to be on the court.
I'll tell you, and I think that's a great point, but I will tell you this, B, the thing is, you're going out there, you have one stop to make to get yourself maybe to steal a W in this game. You are concentrating on the guy you are up and under at that point in time. It's full court pressure, and you're not really out there counting bodies. Now, I agree. You play a lot of basketball. You play a lot of any sport. You should be able to realize that, hey, something's not right here. But, I mean, so here's the other thing, then. What happens if the 5th guy realizes, shoot, I'm supposed to be out there, and just goes flying off the bench?
I was wondering that, too, because the kid went to check in. Like, maybe you just run out on the court. That'd have to be a tech, right?
Yeah, I would assume you're allowed to do do that, but I don't.
If I don't even know. That one person could run in the game. He ain't got to go tech.
I don't know.
He don't have to go check with nobody.
Could you imagine one of those kids on the bench? He had to realize, oh man, I think I was supposed to be out there. I mean, I guess I don't. So
that kid not gonna say that. He's not gonna say that publicly. I guarantee you that.
No.
Whoever owned it blamed himself, which is the right thing to do for a coach there. We're talking with Terrapin Hoops analyst Chris Knoche joining us, talking about Nebraska only having 4 players on the court last night in a decisive moment in their upset loss to Iowa. Knoche, before we turn to the games tonight, who has impressed you most this far in the tournament?
I tell you what, I thought last night was a great night for point guards, and I tell you why. 2 guys, Wagler from Illinois and Braden Smith, neither one had their A game offensively, but neither one had very particularly healthy shooting percentages. But damn if they weren't the best players on the court, and damn if they didn't help their team, in the critical plays, critical junctures. Very unselfish guys, and just that sort of reinforces to me that even though you get these big, huge teams like Michigan and Arizona, at the end of the day, it's a guards game, and guards a lot of times will dictate who wins these really close games, tournament type games.
Yeah.
And I thought we saw that last night.
Do you think Illinois? They knocked Houston off last night. They face Iowa now in the Elite Eight. I think Illinois could win a title. Do you?
You know what? It's hard to believe until you see them up close. We saw them twice this year. How big they are.
Yeah.
Well, they're also men. They're older guys. You know, they went in and got a bunch of Euros, and that class that they have by their name, sophomore, freshman. That means ridiculous. I mean, these are nothing. But they're so big, and in fact, the two guys they play in the backcourt a lot of minutes together, Wagler and Stojakovic, are both 6'6", 6'7", and long. You know, and that's just their backcourt. You know, they've got the 7-footers, the 7-foot twins, and this guy Mirkovic couldn't jump over a Pabst Blue Ribbon can, and all he does is make plays, man. He just, he is so solid, and he's a matchup nightmare. So they got guys. I mean, you're right. They could win. The only problem with that, JP, is I think that road would have to go through Michigan, and I remember watching Michigan play at Illinois this year, and Michigan just beat the tar out of Illinois. Now, that was 6 weeks ago. You only have to beat them once, right?
Another team I think that's very talented, Arizona, man.
Yeah,
they all look like they all look like they can just beat the guy.
Yeah, and that's a big team too, man.
Yes.
They got big bodies. The Purdue Arizona matchup's going to be interesting because then it really becomes incumbent upon Braden Smith to be that guy in the game. They have to have a stud game out of Trey Kaufman-Renn to be in that game against Arizona. But Purdue is wily, man. They got a great coach, great system. These guys have played 130 games together, and it's going to help you in a game like that. The Arizona still got some young guys in there, young bodies, and experience matters in games like that.
For sure. All right, let's switch it up. Talking with our friend Chris Knoche here on the Rude Guest Hotline. Knoche, we got a hell of a couple of games tonight at Cap One Arena right here in D.C. Let's start with what I think will be the biggest game of the tourney so far, Duke against St. John's. What do you think of a matchup with two very different teams?
I wish both teams could lose. To be honest with you. Nah, you know what? I think that, again, all St. John's has to do is beat Duke once, right? And it's not best out of 3 or anything like that. And I think St. John's will turn this into a street fight. I think it'll be a really, really entertaining game. Wouldn't surprise me if it's on the lower scoring side as opposed to the second game, which I think will be up and back, a racehorse game, that Michigan State UConn game. But I think the Cap One just could not have gotten any luckier with these matchups. Not just the teams. You're talking about the coaches.
Totally,
everything about it is big time tonight, and you gotta buckle up for these games, man, because these are not for the faint of heart. These are 4 teams that will knock you in the jaw.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome to watch.
There's some physicality in these games.
Well, I like the fact that they let these guys play. Last night, that the first game, they went 9 minutes without a stoppage in play. Not the first 9 minutes of the game before there was a TV timeout. That's unheard of, and it sort of speaks to the way they officiate these games this time of year.
Let it go. Let them play.
For sure.
Let it go.
We'll see if that
Players
happens.
Decide.
St. John's is certainly hoping that happens. And while our focus is on Cap One, the Midwest region is pretty loaded too. What do you like, Michigan, Bama?
I love Michigan in the game. I told you guys before, this Michigan team's the best team I've seen in the Big Ten. In the Big Ten, we've been in there 12 years. This Michigan team is the best team by far that I've seen. And they're playing well right now. I just think they're going to exploit Bama inside, and Michigan's more than comfortable running the way Alabama likes to run. I think it'll be an entertaining game. And then you get to Tennessee, Iowa State. That's a good basketball game as well. And I just think that it's Michigan's region out there likely to win at this point in time.
If Alabama knocking down threes, that's the only way they can win. If they
shoot
start missing those threes, they got problems.
I'm telling you, B, I think they need to hit in the area of like 15 or 16 threes. 10 is not going to get it done. 12 is not going to get it done. They're going to have to be nuclear from outside.
Dude, I mean, in their last game, though, Bama went 19 of 42 from three.
They going to shoot them.
They need a game
I'm
like
just
that.
saying, they got to make them because half the time they don't make them.
Yeah, and they weren't playing Michigan in that last game either.
Right. Yeah, the Wolverines are solid, man. It should be an awesome night of hoops.
Yeah.
Who you got winning it all, Knoche?
You know what? I love Michigan and Arizona. It's a shame that they would play in the semifinals if they both advance. I'd like to see Michigan win, but I got Arizona winning.
Yeah,
and I just go by the mantra: anybody but Duke.
I love it, Chris.
Anybody but Duke.
Yo, thank you for the time, dude. Appreciate you.
All right. See you guys. Talk soon.